Why are you packing Grandma's things? I stood in the doorway of my grandmother's house, watching my aunt sort through photo albums. She didn't look up. The house is being sold. Didn't your mother tell you? My stomach dropped. Sold. Grandma died 3 days ago. Aunt Linda finally met my eyes, her expression flat. The will is clear. The house goes to the family. We're selling it and splitting the proceeds. Something in her tone made my skin prickle. Can I see the will? Her smile was brief, dismissive. It's with the lawyers. Don't worry, you'll get your share. I'm Rachel Price. I'm 31, a nurse in Portland, Oregon. My grandmother Eleanor raised me from age 8 after my parents died in a car accident. This house, a small craftsman bungalow in northeast Portland, had been my home for 10 years. Every summer after I moved out, I'd come back and stay with Grandma, help her with the garden, paint the fence, fix the plumbing. Last year, when she got sick, I took family leave and moved back in for 4 months to care for her. My Aunt Linda and my Uncle Tom had visited maybe twice a year, always asking Grandma for money, always leaving before any real work needed doing. But now, 3 days after Grandma's death, Linda was in the house packing like she owned it. I'd still like to see the will, I said, keeping my voice steady. Linda sighed, irritated. Rachel, you're being dramatic. This is standard estate procedure. The house sells, the money gets divided among grandchildren. You'll get your portion. How much is my portion? I asked. She paused, folding a quilt to roughly. The house is worth about $400,000. There are for grandchildren. You do the math, $100,000. It seemed wrong, but I couldn't articulate why. When's the reading of the will? There isn't one. It's straightforward. The lawyer will send paperwork. She turned back to the boxes, clearly done with the conversation. I stood there another moment, then walked through the house slowly. The kitchen where Grandma taught me to bake. The porch where we'd spent summer evenings. The back bedroom that had been mine for a decade. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. That evening, I called the county recorder's office. If there was a will filed, it would be public record. The clerk was helpful. Eleanor Price died last week. Yes, we have the will on file. Filed 2 years ago. Would you like a copy? Please. It arrived by email an hour later. I opened the PDF with shaking hands, started reading, and felt the world shift. The will was dated May 15th, 2 years ago. I remembered that month. Grandma had been clear, energetic, still driving herself to appointments. The first paragraph was standard language. The second paragraph made me stop breathing. I leave my home and property at 4780 to Northeast Alameda Street, Portland, Oregon, to my granddaughter Rachel Marie Price. In gratitude for the years of love and care she has provided. She has been more than a granddaughter. She has been the daughter of my heart. The house wasn't being split for ways. The house was mine. Entirely mine. I read it 3 times to be sure. Then I called the law firm listed as executor. The paralegal who answered confirmed it. Yes, Ms. Price, your grandmother's will is very specific. The property transfers to you solely. There are some small cash bequests to other grandchildren, $5,000 each, but the house is yours. My aunt told me it was being sold and divided. Silence. Then, that would be fraudulent. Has the property been listed? I don't know. She's packing it up right now. More silence. Ms. Price, I'm going to have our attorney call you directly. This is a serious matter. The attorney, Margaret Chen, called 15 minutes later. Her voice was sharp with concern. Your aunt has no authority to sell that property. The will is filed and clear. If she's attempting to liquidate assets that belong to you, that's conversion of property. Potentially criminal. My hands had gone cold. What do I do? First, go to the house. Document what's being removed. Take photos. Second, I'm filing an emergency motion with probate court tomorrow to prevent any sale. Third, we may need to involve police if your aunt doesn't cease immediately. I drove back to the house. It was 8 p.m., but lights were on inside. Through the window, I could see Linda and Tom loading boxes into a truck. I took photos from my car, time-stamped, showing them removing property. Then I called the non-emergency police line. To officers arrived 20 minutes later. I showed them the will on my phone, explained the situation. The older officer knocked on the door. Linda answered, irritation turning to concern when she saw the uniforms. Ma'am, we understand you're removing property from this residence. Linda's voice was confident. It's my mother's house. I'm settling her estate. The officer glanced at his notepad. According to the will filed with the county, this property belongs solely to Rachel Price. Do you have documentation showing otherwise? Linda's confidence cracked. That's not, the lawyer said. Which lawyer? The officer asked. She named someone I'd never heard of. The officer made a note. Ms. Price, the rightful owner, is requesting you stop removing property immediately. If you continue, you'll be charged with theft. Asterisk Tom appeared in the doorway. This is family business. This is legal business, the officer replied. You need to return what you've taken and vacate the property. Asterisk I stepped forward. My voice steadied despite my pounding heart. Everything you've packed needs to stay. I'll arrange for you to collect personal items later with supervision. But the house and its contents are mine. Asterisk Linda's face went red. You ungrateful little, Eleanor would never give you everything. You're just trying to steal what belongs to the whole family. The officer held up a hand. Ma'am, the will is public record. We've seen it. Either you comply or we'll arrest you for theft. Your choice. Asterisk they unpacked the truck in silence, moving boxes back inside while I documented everything with my phone. When they left, Tom turned to me. This isn't over. We'll contest the will. On what grounds? I asked. Grandma was mentally sound when she wrote it. She was evaluated by her doctor that month. She knew exactly what she was doing. Asterisk Tom's jaw worked. You manipulated her. I loved her, I said quietly. Which is more than you did. Now leave. Asterisk after they left, I sat on Grandma's porch, my porch now, and cried. Not from relief, though I felt that. From grief that even inheriting the home where I'd been loved and safe, had to become a fight. Asterisk the next morning, Margaret filed the emergency motion. By afternoon, the judge had issued an order preventing any sale or transfer of the property. Linda and Tom's lawyer, the one I'd never heard of, turned out to be their neighbor. Not an estate attorney, who'd given them completely wrong information. Possibly intentionally. Asterisk Margaret was blunt. They were trying to commit fraud. They knew about the will. They thought they could sell the house before you found out and split the money. By the time you discovered the truth, the house would be sold and the money spent. You'd have to sue to recover it. Asterisk can I prove they knew? She nodded. I subpoenaed their emails. Your aunt received a copy of the will from the executor 3 weeks ago. She knew the house was yours. She proceeded anyway. Asterisk we filed a formal complaint. The district attorney's office reviewed the evidence and charged Linda and Tom with attempted theft and fraud. They pled it down to civil penalties, paying $15,000 each in fines plus my legal fees. They were also barred from the property permanently. Asterisk the $5,000 bequests Grandma left them were voided due to their attempted fraud. The judge ruled that beneficiaries who attempt to defraud the estate forfeit their inheritance. So they got nothing. Not the house, not the money, not even the small gift Grandma had left them out of obligation. Asterisk I spent the next month going through the house slowly, carefully. In Grandma's desk, I found a letter addressed to me, dated the same day as her will. My dear Rachel, it began. If you're reading this, I'm gone. I know my children will cause trouble about the house. They always saw it as an asset, not a home. You saw it as both. You earned this house with every dinner you cooked, every holiday you spent with me, every phone call just to check in. Linda and Tom will tell you I should have divided things equally. But equal isn't fair when effort isn't equal. You gave me your time, your care, your love. Not because you wanted inheritance, but because you loved me. This house is yours because you're the only one who ever made it a home. Don't let them guilt you. Don't let them make you doubt. You deserve this. All my love, Grandma Eleanor. Asterisk I framed that letter and hung it in the kitchen. When people ask why my aunt and uncle don't visit, I show them the letter. Most understand. The ones who don't aren't people I need in my life anyway. Asterisk the house appraised at $420,000. I could have sold it, taken the money, started fresh somewhere cheaper. But this was home, so I kept it. I repainted the rooms Grandma couldn't reach anymore. I updated the kitchen she'd always talked about modernizing. I planted her favorite roses in the front garden. Asterisk and I stayed in the house that loved me, left to me by the woman who raised me. Protected now by a will that couldn't be broken by people who confused inheritance with entitlement. Asterisk Linda sent one email 6 months later. This isn't fair. Mom should have split things equally. You've ruined this family. I replied once. Grandma split things according to who was actually present in her life. That was equal to the effort given. We're not ruined. We're honest now. Asterisk. She never responded. Tom tried to show up once, a year later, claiming he needed family photos. I had copies made, met him at a coffee shop, handed them over. These are yours. Don't come to the house. He started to argue. I'll call the police, I said calmly. You're barred from the property. If you show up, you'll be arrested for trespassing. Asterisk he took the photos and left. I haven't seen him since. My younger cousin, Sophie, Linda's daughter, reached out 2 years later. I heard what happened. I'm sorry my mom did that. It wasn't right. We met for coffee. She was 23, working as a teacher, honest and kind in a way her parents weren't. Can I see the house sometime? She asked. I have good memories there with Grandma. Asterisk of course, I said. You're welcome anytime. She visits every few months now. She's the only one from that side of the family I speak to. The only one who understands that inheritance isn't automatic, it's earned. Asterisk 3 years after Grandma died, I still live in the house. I painted the exterior last spring, updated the plumbing, replaced the roof. Every improvement feels like honoring Grandma's memory. This wasn't just property she left me. It was proof that she saw what I gave, that she valued it, that she wanted to protect me from people who would take advantage. Asterisk if your family has ever tried to take what rightfully yours, claiming fairness while ignoring years of your effort. Know this, you're not obligated to share what you earned. Inheritance based on biology isn't fair. Inheritance based on actual love and care is. Asterisk my aunt and uncle wanted the house because it had value. I got the house because I valued Grandma. That's the difference. One is transaction. The other is relationship. Grandma knew that. The will proved it. And no amount of their anger could change what she'd decided. Asterisk I don't regret fighting them. I don't regret the legal fees or the family drama or the relationships that ended. Because what I kept was more valuable than their approval. I kept my integrity. I kept my home. I kept the proof that love matters more than blood. Asterisk this house was never theirs. It was mine the moment I moved in at 8 years old and Grandma said, "Welcome home." Everything after was just paperwork.